let's begin by saying, Bharat Mata ki jai. Bharat Mata ki jai. Vande Mataram. Jai Hind. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Operation Sindur was launched at a little bit after 1:05 a.m. As of this moment, we have been broadcasting non-stop live at the Republic Media Network since. As of this minute, your network, the Republic Media Network, is under a massive cyber attack from the Pakistani cyber troops. We are fighting back and we will win as well. Ladies and gentlemen, a few visuals of Operation Sindur launched post-midnight, hitting the terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir like never before. There are a lot of visuals, but the kind of bombardment, the kind of impact this has had, the way in which this has been totally spread out across 9 different locations, all very carefully thought. Markaz Subhanallah, Bahawalpur, Pakistan. Markaz Taiba, Muridke, Pakistan. Sarjar, which is the training facility, ladies and gentlemen, of Jaish-e-Mohammed in Narowal, Pakistan. Mehmoona Joya facility, Sialkot, Pakistan. Markaz Ahir Hadith Barnala in Bhimber, which is Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, a center for arms smuggling and infiltration. Markaz Abbas, Kotli, that's also Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, key stronghold led by Kuri Zarar, all on the basis of very, very strong, credible intelligence. Markaz Rahil Shahid, Kotli, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, one of the most lethal training grounds of the Hizbul Mujahideen. Shawai Nala Camp, Muzaffarabad. That's about 250 terrorists are there for religious indoctrination and combat, trained there, tied to the 26/11 attacks. Markaz Saidna Bilal, Muzaffarabad, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Another point I want to mention tonight is, ladies and gentlemen, the intense impact that this has had on the minds of the Pakistani people, because they've never seen this kind of India. They've never seen an India that attacks overtly on the basis of credible intelligence and shows the Pakistanis literally who has the upper hand here. Situation was so bad in Pakistan, the Pakistan army is coming under intense criticism. I want to play one soundbite of a Pakistani man who's saying, when the Indian army came in, when the Air Force came in, where was our army?
पाकिस्तानी और इंडिया ने जंग शुरू कर दी है। अभी मेरे बहावलपुर सिटी के अंदर मौलाना मसूद अजहर साहब के जो है मदरसा है, उसके ऊपर 4 मिसाइल दागे गए हैं। 4 मिसाइलों के साथ हमला किया गया है मौलाना मसूद अजहर साहब के मदरसे के ऊपर। हम अपनी अफवाज पाकिस्तान के साथ खड़े हैं, लेकिन मेरा सवाल है कि हमारी एजेंसीज कहाँ सोई हुई थी, हमारी अफवाज पाकिस्तान कहाँ सोई हुई थी जब ये हमला हुआ?
The mingling of the Pakistani army and the terrorists, there have been several, at least a dozen very major funeral meetings, and in all of these funeral meetings, it's led by the terrorists, supported by the army, led by the army, supported by the terrorists. The bodies of the terrorists who have been killed carried on the shoulders of Pakistani army personnel, top Pakistani army generals, brigadiers, full colonels, all out there conducting the last rites for the terrorists, because this really shows there is no Pakistan Special Corps, there is no difference between the so-called Pakistan Rangers, Pakistan Special Corps, the Lashkar-e-Toiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed. They're in a fancy dress competition. Some of them have long beards and wear kurtas, and the others wear the fatigue. But at the end of the day, they are all part of the same terrorist apparatus. This has been such a deadly blow for the Jaish-e-Mohammed that Maulana Masood Azhar of the Jaish-e-Mohammed has said that 14 people, including 10 members of his family, have been killed. And he says, and this is the debilitating psychological impact, he says, I wish I had been killed too. Ladies and gentlemen, Maulana Masood Azhar says, I wish I had been killed too by India. He's broken. He's devastated. He can say what he wants. We've broken the back of the Pakistani terror machinery. And we've always told them, and I spoke to top sources in the government, I said, what if Pakistan responds? And they said, no problem. They respond, we'll teach them. They respond, we'll do Operation Sindur 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And we've got incredible backup. Viewers, if you're watching this broadcast, this is not even 0.000000000 to the millionth percent of India's capability. And Pakistan is shaking in its boots, so much so that Maulana Masood Azhar is saying, things are so bad, I wish I had been killed myself. Nobody could see this coming. One more visual out there, the visual from the car full frame, you will see that people are shooting on their phones the intensity of the bombardment. There is one incredible visual which came in earlier today, and this really shows the power of the Indian Army, where there is an unmanned aerial vehicle which is roaming around, flying over the sky, and within a second of that, there is a huge explosion. You see, there are UAVs all across Pakistan. We've sent them, and they can shoot. We're told there are kamikaze drones. Kamikaze means suicide drones. They enter undetected, very, very top end, very expensive equipment that we have, and then they can hit wherever they want to. So the point is, we are winning. Of course, I would like to say to everyone tonight that we must be watchful, we must be careful, but we must be united. And what did I hate today? The tone of despondency in the Congress party. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not believe that Rahul Gandhi appeared to be in mourning today. He should be celebrating. But he knows his political career is over. Over the last 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, this man, Rahul Gandhi, and his party leaders, and I blame him because he is the one giving a certificate to all, he has been leading the attack on our forces and our government. He has done everything possible. This party has done everything possible to embolden Pakistan. And therefore, today they are in mourning. Look at the face. Look at Sachin Pilot's face. Look at Mallikarjun Kharge. Look at Rahul Gandhi. Look at K.C. Venugopal. They're sad. We're celebrating. The pro-Pakistan party is sad. Then look at the tone in which he speaks. You will see, ladies and gentlemen, I have no words to describe. This man is sad that we've hammered Pakistan, because he is and his party is a pro-Pakistan party.
Working committee में हमारा discussion हुआ. पूरा समर्थन, full support to our forces. Best wishes to them. Much love to them. Complete support from the Congress party and the Congress working committee.
He speaks in a vacuous and unintelligent tone. Much love to them. The Indian Army needed your support. They don't need your love. They needed your support. You attacked them, Rahul Gandhi, you and your party. You tried to carry out a lethal attack on the morale of the Indian Army and the country. And we will never forget. I would also like to publicly condemn what some of these Lutyens media has been doing. What the Hindu has done is particularly unfortunate. It's a newspaper. They call it a newspaper. I think it's more of a, irrelevant website, the Hindu. N. Ram Sindhu, I think. It is falsely reported today about Indian fighter jets crashing in Jammu and Kashmir, using old and unrelated images to support this false claim. Why did the Hindu do that? Mr. Ram, please tell me. You people in the Hindu give a lecture to the whole world about journalism. You don't know the J of journalism. To do things like this is terrible. This report was then quickly called out by vigilant and nationalist citizens online who exposed the fakery, forced into damage control. The Hindu then quietly deleted the article and issued an apology. But the question is, why did they do it? Do they have no editorial checks, balances? Do they have no measures not to let something like this happen? So I think that organizations like the Hindus should do some serious introspection. Ladies and gentlemen, the Congress party also put out a Twitter putting Mahatma Gandhi's picture and saying, immediately, first thing in the morning, 7 o'clock today when they woke up, they said, we want peace. The most important weapon of humanity is peace, according to the Congress party. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a time when the Congress party should have said, hit Pakistan hard. Instead, the Karnataka Congress posted Mahatma Gandhi's quote saying the most important weapon of humanity is peace. Then they also later deleted this post. You do these things. I question their intentions. Which side are they on? You can have peace only if you're willing to show your force and your strength. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my view. Do you agree with me or not? Viewers, tonight the lobby is back at it. Each of the targets which have been hit has been a strategic move. We are so proud. And one point I want to make tonight before I go into our first news report is that this is not just revenge for what happened in Pahalgam. Ladies and gentlemen, this is revenge for a lot of incidents before that. This is revenge for 26/11. This is revenge because earlier too we had thought of hitting some of the targets that we've hit today, but we did not. Therefore, this is revenge for all that has happened in this country over the last couple of years. These complexes which have been hit today, the terrorists who have been hit, this is all the pending work of Balakot, because two of the key targets in Operation Sindur, which are precision strikes on terror camps in Pakistan by the Army and the Air Force earlier today, were on the Army radar 5 years ago when the Balakot strikes happened. Pakistan's Bahawalpur and Kotli, these were options considered during the airstrikes after Pulwama, and today that has happened and they have been devastated. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we believe in the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has immense experience, but more than that, he has incredible conviction. He's driven by a deep sense of nationalism and purpose, and we are so happy and proud to have his leadership. I would also like to put in a word at this stage for one person who is a true Bharat Ratna of the country, and that is Ajit Doval, the National Security Advisor, whose hard work and years of experience, knowledge of covert systems have delivered a surprise to the Pakistanis. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pakistanis knew and yet we hit them. We are so proud of our government, of our armed forces.